Hello and welcome to PAXTON Road TV. This is the PAXTON Road TV preview show for the game. Who are we playing? Yes, Spurs. No, it's Wolves versus Spurs at Molineux tomorrow. Kickoff 2 p.m. I'm joined in the house by Mike Hotspur Hustler, Darius 3K, Spursy 141, Judge Jodi, Sid Spurs, and special guest Callum Cabs. Welcome back, Callum. Liking the Don look again. We'll say nothing about the hairstyle. Too early for that. I'm Sam Spurs for Life. Welcome to the show. Please, if you're watching live, hit that like button and let us get into the show. So,
Sam, just before we start the show, at least Callum can talk about hairstyles. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's what I'm saying. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I reckon he's ball by choice, though, isn't it? Ball by choice. It suits you.
That's tired.
I think I've only got 10 years left with my hair, if that's how it's going. So
listen. If I had Callum's hair, I'd be wearing it in 3, not just 2. I'd be wearing it in 3. That's how much I'd be showing off.
I might have to do that next time.
That's a completely different story. Let's get into this because otherwise people will think, what are they watching? Anyway, right. We are playing Wolves tomorrow. Coming off the back of a disappointing result, shall we say. Obviously, disappointing result from the game against Paca de Ferreira, if that's what they call. People calling them Paca Rabanne, de Toilet. I was getting all kinds of bloody, grief on social media, which is to be expected. However, when you look at the actual facts, 16 first team players weren't there. Certainly the 11 that started the game against Man City were nowhere to be seen. And so therefore, taking into consideration, it was a bit of a mixed bag of new recruits, players that we don't want to see playing anymore, and youngsters. Probably was to be expected. Some notable performances, probably Brian Hill. I will start with Callum, as he's our guest. Firstly, do you think the result Thursday will have any effect going into tomorrow's game?
No, not at all. I feel like the team, I don't think any of the players that played against City started on Thursday. Like you said, there's a young squad, couple second string team players. So, no, I feel like it's not going to affect the confidence at all. I would say I'm looking forward to the game, but you never know with Tottenham. We can go from beating Man City one week to struggling against the lesser team the next. But I'm on this positive Peter vibe this season, so we'll see.
This positive Peter vibe, I like that one. We've got to try and stay positive. Like I said, it's very much a Spurs trait. We are either very much on a high, or then it's like crisis centre at the lane. So we got to try and find some sort of middle ground. Like I said, I wasn't happy with the result, obviously, but you got to take things into consideration. Jodi, I'll come to you next. Any thoughts on the performance, whether that's going to have an impact going forward?
No, I agree with Callum. I don't think we can take too much from that, to be honest. It's the first time that the team have all played together. Like you said, it was primarily all the youngsters. A lot haven't had, any playing time together. And then there's also Winks as well. I think Hill looked good. I was also upset about, seeing people tweet about Nuno, about, all the negativity that came out of that. So I'm hoping that, we can go in bigger and better for the next game tomorrow. And yeah, I don't think it will have an effect at all. I think let's
100%. 100%. I agree. Darius, I know you didn't see the game, but obviously the result wasn't to our liking. What do you think of all the I guess the stories going around with regards to certain players? I know there's a bit of a bandwagon against Harry Winks. I said Harry Winks is not my favourite player in the world, but he's getting a lot more grief than probably deserved from the game on Thursday. Do you expect any of the players that played to be involved in Sunday's game?
I'm sorry, Sam, but it's 100% deserved. He deserves all of it. The guy was worse than all the youngsters on the pitch. He was terrible. I don't know if it's agenda's flying for me, but he was terrible. He deserves it for me. Well, maybe a few of us were worse, I have to admit. But from what I saw, the guy was losing the ball like a flipping 16-year-old. So I'm not going to forgive Harry Winks. But for me, I don't care about that game. I actually don't care about the cup. I hope we lose the second round so we can just focus on important competitions. Because at the end of the day, the Carter Vickers story, what happened with Carter Vickers is exactly what's going to happen with a lot of other players if we continue in this cup. So for me, maybe an unpopular opinion, send the 16-year-olds on in the next round, get us out of that cup, and let's focus on some serious competitions. For me, forget all the traveling. That's going to make a massive impact. In terms of going forward, does any of those players deserve to play this this weekend? Probably not. But like Callum said, it's a bunch of kids. I can't really take anything from the game. I know Romero was playing, but then he was next to a guy who looks like he ate about 5 burgers before the game and he got injured. So I really can't judge anybody's performance on that game. Is such a joke to me, and I don't know if I'm not taking it as I can't take that game seriously. I can't take that cup seriously after some of the things I've seen. So the quicker we're out of it, the better for me, and we can focus on a big game against Wolves, which I think is going to be a lot more difficult than people think, just because they're going to have so much to prove against their manager. They seem to be playing a little bit more attacking. You don't know what our centre-backs are going to do. They could turn into flipping Van Dijk and Ramos, or they could be Dyer and Sanchez. So I don't know what to expect, but you know what? Like Callum said, if he's going to be positive Peter, I'm going to be optimistic Ollie, and I hope we go in and I hope we win the game. I really do think we can win the game, though.
Bloody hell, after all that negativity,
but
what kind of ending is that? After all that, I hope we win tomorrow. Jesus Christ. Flipping hell.
It's like one of those films that are just like build you up and you just get a crap ending.
That was a snap. That was a snap.
That was the positive bit at the end. That little sliver at the end was like, yeah, and I hope we win tomorrow. After all that bashing. Jesus. Well, anyway, Daz, thank you for that. I'm happy to hear that. I'll come to you next, Mike, before we come to Sid. Anything to possibly go into tomorrow's game with any concerns? As I said, for me, Nuno said the right things afterwards. He said he kind of took a bit of responsibility, obviously explained the situation with regards to the players not playing. And the manager does have to take responsibility for that. But I'm not going to say, he's made, because I think it was the right thing to do. I didn't want to see any of the players playing. So it is what it is. He now knows who can do what. But the next game next week is obviously at home. So that should make a difference, yeah?
100%. I don't think you can take anything from that game into this one, because straight away, what is 15? Was it 15, 16 players from the Man City squad wasn't even there on Thursday. So I don't think you can. There's nothing you can really take away from that game. It was filled with players that are either coming back from injury, youth team players, or new signings. So those new signings need to get up to speed with the English game and stuff. So there's nothing you can really take away from that. Winks, just quickly, Winks didn't take an absolute bashing.
He did take a battering.
He didn't lose the ball anywhere near as much as Lo Celso did, or Davis, or Doherty. So those boys were, and Carter Vickers. I mean, any of us here could have taken his place and done better than him on Thursday. But going into the game Thursday, I don't think it won't affect morale. I'd be shocked if it did. I do expect us kind of just to hit the ground, like continue hitting the ground running. I saw Wolves against Leicester, and they didn't show anything that we should be concerned with. I know obviously it's the Premier League. And anything can happen.
Hold on. Apart from the wrestler they've got on the right wing, because I'm concerned about him. Because him running at you, I don't want to see that. No, he's got
nothing in his locker in terms of finishing or end product. So just whatever, in it. Let him run. He's going to run all day, but he's 9 times out of 10 he's not going to hit the back of the net. So
okay.
I say that I'm going to get clipped up now, but
definitely getting clipped up. Getting clipped up.
But no, I don't. Yeah, I don't foresee anything from Thursday's game going into tomorrow's game on a negative impact. So,
final thoughts from Sid then on Thursday's performance before we get really into this.
Did we actually have a game on Thursday? I didn't even know we had a game on Thursday. But you know, in all honesty, right, everyone's bashing Harry Winks, and yes, rightfully. But I agree with Mike. Everyone forgets that there was a certain player on the pitch called GLC. I never even heard his name in the whole game. And I said this before. He should have stood up on Thursday. He should have been the main man. And he drastically failed for me. And if he continues like that, he needs to go. And I've said this before. But on tomorrow's game, we've got to remember, Nuno's going back to his old hunting ground. So he's going to be well up for this. It'll be interesting to see what kind of reception he gets from the Wolves fans, because I'm sure they won't be happy with the way he left and straight into Spurs. So he'll want to win it. And I don't think, you know, that Alex Ferguson team talk on everyone else. Boys, it's only Tottenham. He's going to go in there tomorrow and say, boys, it's Wolves. End of.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't say that, because he said if it's only Spurs, we know what can happen then. Oh, bloody hell. Just remember West Ham. It's only Spurs. Don't matter. We could be 2-0. We could be 2-0 down and still get up. 3-0 down, in fact, and still catch this lot. So, it might be interesting to see. But I know what you're saying. The question I wanted to ask, because obviously there's elements of him going back to his old club. As I said, I don't really know much about how the new manager's doing for Wolves this season. Obviously, it's only one game in. But there should be some elements that Nuno will be able to take advantage of. Do you see this being, Jodi, and I'll come to you first on that, do you see this being an advantage for Nuno to be able to go into the game tomorrow? Or is it just a case of it doesn't really matter, he's going to have to play to the best team, to his best of his ability, I guess?
Yeah, I think it's Bruno up against Nuno, isn't it, tomorrow?
Yes.
Bruno versus Nuno, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's going to do tomorrow. I know that Wolves have a few injuries still, I think. And I think maybe that might explain why last weekend, I think he went with the 3-4-3 last weekend. But I think Bruno's preference is to go with 4 at the back. So I think from the Leicester game, it looked like they were still going for the same kind of aggressive counter-attacking style, kind of back from Nuno's days. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see kind of how they stack up against each other tomorrow. I think for us, the 4-3-3s worked really well throughout pre-season. So I think, you know, if we can keep that up in tomorrow's game, I think that's probably going to be to our advantage. But yeah, it is going to be really interesting, I think, to see how Nuno kind of copes with that, I think.
Yeah. As I said, it's always interesting when they talk about managers going back to their old teams, because, you know, they'll obviously know the players intimately. If that's the right phrase. Not too intimately, I hope, but intimately enough. But it can obviously work to their disadvantage potentially, because the opposition will say, right, we've got to make sure we play to the best of our ability to show the old manager if there was any reasons why he left, whether it was under a cloud. I don't know all the details about that, but it certainly could be a case of they're going to up their game, being at home as well, the first game in front of their fans. Callum, what are you expecting from the performance from the guys tomorrow?
I mean, as Sam said, you like to think that Nuno knows the players quite well, so it should work to our advantage, but that's not really how football goes. You've seen managers play against the old clubs, and that's not always the case. But to be honest, I'd just like to see us go out there and play on the front foot. I feel like there was a lot of games last season, all the draws to teams like Palace and West Brom and them type of games where we either scored first and then sat back, or that's just not really what I want to see. Like, it's all well and good playing like that against Man City, a team that have got better players for us, man for man. But against a team like Wolves, I want to see us dominate the game from the first minute.
100%. From the first minute, I think.
From the first minute.
What's he laughing at? He's laughing at that comment. I'm not going to say anything more. Anyway, I'll come to you next, Sid. What are you looking for from the team tomorrow?
Same as last week against Man City. From the offset and the whole game, we was aggressive. The togetherness was there. And basically, it looked like we had 11 players actually playing for the crest last Sunday against Man City. The tackles, the passion, they played really well. And this is what we forget Thursday now. Play the team last week, play the same tomorrow, the same consistency, the same drive, and I'll be happy with that. As long as they're showing commitment, passion, and playing football like we want them to play football, I think Spurs fans will be happy. And obviously we're going to win. So just keep up what we done last Sunday. And it's momentum, isn't it? Just keep building the momentum every week in, week out, until we hit that point where we're full 100% at full speed ahead.
Thank you. Can we be some more professional on this show, please? Everyone's laughing in the background, and I can see why, though. When Sid has got to be singing on the stream, because that's what we're going to have to do. Juice Nuts has already said, if we win, Sid has to sing tomorrow, and I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that. The talk now is all about Harry Kane. So he's been pictured training. He's back in the fold, although there wasn't a lot of footage shown of him. I watched like about 6 minute clip yesterday. and it did show him working with the players. Darius, do you expect Harry Kane to be involved tomorrow?
I've kind of been like, and I know my decision on this has sort of changed over the past few days. Now, where I stand, I think he should start 100% if he's fit. I don't see why he shouldn't start. I don't see how he's going to leave in the next 12 days. I'm struggling to sort of, again, I said he was leaving last week, and this week now I'm thinking he's not leaving. I just think that now, when you've got players like Lewandowski who are potentially putting themselves out on the market, people like Mbappe with a year left on their contract, there's not really any room for him to even go anywhere. So I just think that the quicker he realizes that, and the quicker he sort of accepts that he might be here for another year, kind of do what Modric did in a way that Modric didn't get his move to Chelsea, and then had probably the best year of his career at Tottenham, and then got his move to Real Madrid. So he just has to kind of take that model and sort of play out of his skin. And I 100% believe he will do that. I think that Harry Kane will play for 100% for the badge when he fully gets back into the team. And I think he should get back into the team starting now. The only thing I'll say opposing that is everybody played well last game. And I can't really think of one person who deserves to be dropped. If I was going to say anyone, maybe Bergwijn and put Son back out on the left. But I don't know. I just think that everybody played well, especially the centre-backs. I don't think anybody should really be dropped. And like Jodi said, I think the 4 at the back will probably be what we play, even though I think that Bruno Lage will play a 3 at the back. And yeah, it's a difficult one. Does it affect the other teammates if you say Harry Kane, who's almost caused all this disruption at the start of the season, can get back straight into the team straight away? I don't know how certain players will feel about that, but at the end of the day, it's Harry Kane, and I'm sure a lot of those players will think if Harry Kane's playing with us, we've got a better chance of winning. So it's how you look at it. I think he should start for me. It's just he will score. He will probably score or create something, and that's what you need in this team right now. So yeah, I think Harry Kane should start.
Well, before I come to you, Mike, because I want to get your thoughts on it. I'm just going to play the clip from yesterday's interview press conference where Nuno was asked about Harry Kane's involvement, and just it was a little bit cryptic in there. But as I said, you guys tell me what you think.
But honestly, Michael, it's not unfair for me or fair. It's the reality, and the reality needs to be taken care with wise decisions. And the decision that we make, we go day by day, and all the players that are involved in training session are options for us.
Thanks, Nuno.
So the squad is the squad.
What does that mean?
He's not having it, mate.
He's not having it. But he was asked that question by Michael. I thought it might have been you in the press conference yesterday, Mike, but it wasn't. But what?
Give us time to be in there.
Next time. What did you make of that answer when asked about Harry Kane? What did you think? Is he going to play tomorrow? Is what I'm asking then.
He's not going to start. I honestly don't think he's going to start. How can it? I get what Darius says, and I do agree with the fact that the players of that mindset will be, well, if Harry's playing, you've got a very good chance of scoring goals. I completely agree with that. The only thing that, from my perspective, is what message does that send out to the rest of the squad if Harry just walks in? I personally, if Harry wants to, or if we want Harry, or if Nuno wants Harry to be integrated back into the squad, I think Nuno has to do it the right way, i.e. gradually bring him back in, because if he walks straight back in and say Bergwijn's dropped, it's going to probably be Bergwijn out of that team from Sunday. Let's probably be honest here. Does he deserve to be dropped? I don't think he had a bad game. And can you change a winning team? I know it's the Premier League and you got to play to your strengths, and it's tactical, and some players will fit formations, some players will suit different.
It seems like Bergwijn needs that confidence, isn't it, of being told you're a starter, you still have a role to play in this team. I think it'd be quite wrong to sort of drop Bergwijn. I think you'd probably see Bergwijn go back a couple paces if he did get dropped.
And if from Nuno's perspective, I expect to see Kane on the bench at the very least. If he brings Kane onto the bench, then I think that shows that Nuno's got the ball to leave the biggest players on the bench if they're doing whatever they're doing off the field, and he thinks it's going to sort of, affect the squad in any way, shape, or form. He's doing that's what I think he should do. He should do right by what the team did last Sunday. There wasn't no Harry Kane. We beat the champions, current champions. So we're playing Wolves. if you can beat the champions of that team, you should be able to beat Wolves of that team. So me personally, to keep the rhythm, to keep momentum, I just wouldn't start Harry Kane. I'd put him on the bench, bring him on second half, and make it be a bit of a lesson to Harry Kane as well, to make him think, well, actually, mate, just because you are one of the best strikers in the world doesn't mean to say you're bigger than the club or bigger than the team. So you're one of us, not above us.
Callum, would you start him? Would you start Harry Kane tomorrow?
No, I wouldn't. I agree with Mike. I feel like I would start him on Thursday, if anything. Let him know that you have to work your way back into the team. No one's bigger than the club. I'll be honest, I'm not really happy with him. I never thought I would lose love for him as quickly as I have. It's a bit like the Berbatov situation with me. Berbatov was one of my favourite Spurs players, and then I don't think he missed training, but I think he didn't play the first few games of that season before he went to United. And very quickly I realised that, as much as I love him, he's not bigger than the club. And for me, he's got to work his way back into the team. I think he will probably score a couple goals on Thursday if he was to start, and then all might be forgiven in the eyes of most Spurs fans, and then he can start playing again in the Prem. But I think just to give him a place in the starting lineup, having beat Man City without him last week, it's not justified.
I don't know how you can disrupt that team from last week, given the fact that none of them started on Thursday, none of them were involved on Thursday, even as a sub. So again, it's all that old phrase, that old saying, you should never disrupt a winning team. I think in this situation, it's probably valid because of the fact that we beat Man City on that opening day. The team showed a lot more than just quality; they showed the spirit as well. So Jodi, I'll come to you next. Would you have Harry Kane involved in any squad's teams up until the end of the transfer window? Because there's a lot of talk to say that maybe after the window closes and Harry Kane will come back in. So we've got obviously this game, and then I think the following game obviously on Thursday, and then it's Watford, and then he possibly could be back in. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think we should play him with the current squad the way that we've been playing, like the guys have said. I think every time, our squad get a good rhythm going without Kane in the team, like when he's been off on injury, he comes back and he just unsettles the team again, I think. So I think, if he's going, I think we just need to move on and keep him out until we get a replacement. But then hearing what Darius has said, I think we do need that goal scorer, with Kane, you guarantee goals, aren't you? And that's what we need at the moment. So it's kind of a bit of a, I mean, personally, I think I'm with Callum in that. Personally, I don't think he should play, but we need him. So it's
100%. As I said to you, I don't think there's people talking to say, if Harry Kane should just get thrown in with the under 23s or the under. You can't put Harry Kane in the under 23s for a season. You can't.
He will put a transfer request if you do that. He will put in a transfer request if you do that.
You cannot
do that to the other Harry.
You cannot put Harry. Someone was saying, I've seen it. Let him rot in there for 3 years. What? Are you absolutely out of your mind?
That's ridiculous. That's
Madness.
There's no chance. They've got to find a way, and I think this is probably more than likely scenario. They'll keep him out of the limelight for this period of time. Maybe they'll get him on the bench, but even then, it's going to be all about him. The focus, the cameras are going to be on Harry Kane, looking at his body language, looking at how he looks. Does he come on? If he starts, what's he like? Is his performance going to be compared to? And it's going to be so much additional pressure that I don't think the team needs, and certainly Nuno doesn't need. Once the circus is over with, come the close of the transfer window, then hopefully Harry will get into the professionalism that we know he supposedly has and just get back into doing what he needs to do. But again, there's so many reports. You don't know if Harry Kane may have had the word of the team and the Nuno and the board and said, listen, I'll do what I need to do. You guys have to work this out yourself. What do you see is the vision for Harry Kane actually at the moment, Sid? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. With all the outlets, the medias, the press, his head's probably not in the right frame of mind. He's obviously all this gentleman's agreement, this, that, the other. But going back to what Darius is saying, I agree with you on the sense where he top goal scorer, you need to start him. But then with what Jodi, Mike and Callum were saying, he can't just walk straight into that team because you've just come off a winning game against Man City. You've got a nice little rhythm going on. He's not been involved in any kind of training or whatever from what we believe his first session was yesterday. So there's no way you can walk straight into that starting 11. Maybe on the bench. Because you know what? All tomorrow is going to be, and I'm so glad we're not on live because if it was Sky Sports, it would have just been all about Harry this, Harry that. And I can see match of the day already. Citizen Kane last week is probably going to be saving Harry Kane now, isn't it, or something like that. But he can't start. He's got to be on the bench, and he needs to realise that no player is bigger than the club. This is Tottenham Hotspur. I am the main man, but what's gone on, I can't just walk into that team. And if I was Harry Kane, and I'd be thinking the same. I'd be like, you know what, I can't just walk in because I've not seen the boys, I've not trained with them, and I've known these guys for a couple of years. I can't just walk straight into a team because my boy, when he goes and plays football, and there's players that just walk straight in, all the rest of them are peed off. So
100%.
what gives him the right to walk straight into a team that's just beaten Man City? You imagine like Bergwijn and Moura and all them lot last week had blinding games, and all of a sudden Harry Kane's come back. Sorry guys, you're not playing today. What?
Famously, that happened in the Champions League final,
yes,
where Moura scored a hat-trick, and that for me was that's when I knew at that point that, you know, it doesn't matter what anybody does, he's going to be that player. And at this moment in time, I think that for me has lost its shine, because the fact of we don't know all the stuff that's gone on. I can't say, oh, Harry Kane's done that. We've just got to go by what we kind of judge and seen. He's not been performing. He's not been in the team, and some of the press reports. But for him to come in tomorrow, again, that I think that will take out so much of the good stuff that Nuno's put into the players so far. You know, if you go out on the first game of the season, actually get quite battered in the first 50 minutes, come back from that and win the game, and then make a change to say, oh, you know what, you haven't trained, you've basically just been on strike, here you go. That just go down well.
So do you guys, if we start off quite, I'm not saying we will, but if we were to start off quite sluggish and it was obvious that Kane was needed, would you sort of put that down to the players obviously just not performing, or would you say that Nuno should have started Kane from the start? Because I'm willing to, if they put Kane on the bench and we don't start well, I'm willing to sort of not think about Kane even being on the team. Like, my mindset would be, if he doesn't start and he doesn't even play, then I'm not going to be that fussed. I'm not going to start blaming Nuno for sort of not playing Kane. That's my only fear. I feel like fans, if we don't obviously beat Wolves and Kane is there sat twiddling his thumbs on the bench, I feel like some fans are going to get quite angry at that, just because they'll be like, why is he on the bench? Why did you not start him if he's staying? That's that was my reasoning behind him starting. I just feel like,
is he going to be match fit though? Do you think, is he going to be match fit?
I think he will be. I think this whole match fit thing, like, it just seems like an excuse almost, because he played Euros. Brian Hill, again, he missed Euros but played Olympics. So the match fit thing for me, I think he'll be perfectly fine.
Match fit, shouldn't they?
Yeah, he should be perfectly fine to play. It's just whether, like you said, it's more based on how it affects the other players around him. And part of, some people would say, well, this is how a winning squad is sort of built and formed. You have to fight for your place. Man City won't tell you played a great game and you're going to be guaranteed a spot into the next team, because one, you have to sort of play to the team that you're playing against. You have to be tactically aware of the team. And two, at the end of the day, like I said, Harry Kane is Harry Kane. I know we all have had our issues with him over the past month, but I know that Harry Kane will probably be more of a threat than Steven Bergwijn at goal, and we want to win these games. So that was my only reason. I just feel like fans would get onto Nuno if we weren't to win the game without Harry Kane.
I hear that, but at the same time, if he starts and he doesn't score, doesn't have a good performance, then they'll say the opposite. Oh, why that's Harry Kane? He wants to leave.
Exactly.
It's the same with the Champions League final. Fans are saying, "Oh, you should have started Moura." But if they didn't start Kane and Moura had a bad game, they would say, "Why would you not start our best striker?"
Yeah, fans are going to talk. They're just in a bad situation, aren't they? They're literally in the situation that nobody's going to be happy with. So
that's what I'm saying. I said I think they should just keep him out of all team squads until the close of the transfer window. Takes it out of the equation, because they've said, and they can say that. They can come out and say, we don't think he's in the right frame of mind until, if they want to do that, they don't have to, but that would at least put that to bed for at least a week. And then once the transfer window is closed, if and when we don't see Harry Kane play, then it's like a bit more of a story. But
because it is Chelsea or Arsenal that we play after the window.
Yeah, so after
Chelsea,
I believe, yeah.
Oh, dear me.
I think if
let's just have a look at. Go on.
If you're going to play Harry Kane, though, playing the way at Wolves, where it's not on TV, it's probably, if you're going to bring him into the squad, then this would probably be the perfect opportunity, because you haven't got. Well, A, it's not on live TV, B, it's away, and C, it's at a relatively small ground, i.e. Wolves. So if you're going to do it where there's less pressure, then start off with something like, as I say, Wolves away might be that perfect opportunity to integrate him at some point during the game into the match. But it's one of them, isn't it?
It is. Let's get it back onto us. I know we've kind of touched more on Harry, but that was obviously prompted through the Nuno in the press conference. Last 5 matches against Wolves. I'll just read them out for those who may only be hearing this. Back in 2018, Tottenham 1, Wolves 3. December 2019, Wolves 1, Tottenham 2.
Is that the Vertonghen goal?
Sorry, again?
Was that the Vertonghen goal, the winner?
Yeah, yes, that was the one. He did his famous Superman thing as he does.
Yeah.
March 2020, Tottenham 2, Wolves 3. December 2020, Wolves 1, Tottenham 1. And the last game we played against them, Tottenham 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. So very even, both 2 wins each and a draw. But if you look at the results against Wolves at their place, then favourably, we haven't lost to them in a couple of games. I know it was a draw in the last one. Do you think this is a 3-point game? Who thinks this is a definite 3-pointer?
Me.
Who wants to be brave enough? Sid?
Yeah.
It's a definite 3-pointer for you.
It's a definite 3-pointer because the way they started last week against Leicester, they weren't all that. I know you're going on about Adama Traore, but I agree with what Mike's saying. He's a one-track pony. He's going to shoot down the wings, but there's no end product.
But can you stop it? Can you stop it? Even if you know what's going to happen, can you stop it?
Yeah, but you can't stop it. Well, yeah, but he's not playing, is he? Tanganga's not in the squad, apparently.
Is he not?
No. From what I gather, he's not available tomorrow. Nuno said he's not available. So it's going to be an interesting...
Is that down to injury?
Tanganga?
Apparently so, yeah.
He's injured again?
Yes.
There's no way he's injured again.
He didn't say he was injured. He just said he's not available tomorrow, so I have no idea.
I think that's injury.
Yeah, I think that injury on Man City game. Yeah, I think it's a Man City game. Yeah. But I think we should not be leaving there without 3 points, especially the way they played and how we played against Man City. I think we will steamroll them. I don't think it won't be like Mr. K 4-1, 4-0, 4 whatever, but we should come out of there with 3 points.
Wow. When you use words like steamroll, oh gosh, that's waiting to be clipped up. Okay, see, that's you out in the open, way out in the open.
I'm saying it as how it is. 3 points.
Mike, do you think it's going to be a steamroller performance from Spurs tomorrow?
No, do you know what I did? When I watched the Leicester game, and I thought Wolves they were pony. I have to admit they were pony, but it's Wolves, isn't it? They're just a rugged team who can sort of, I don't know if they can dig in, can't they? I know they only lost 1-0. They weren't great, but they only lost 1-0 to Leicester, and so. I'm not sure. I think because they're obviously playing against Nuno, that might sort of brighten spirits and make them all perform. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's going to be a tight affair. I do think we should win, but it's going to be a tight affair.
Right. This is now a part, right? So this is how we're going to see how tight an affair or how much of a steamroller performance is going to happen. Because, again, just as another aside, I've got to say, and this hopefully Darius 3K will be, ladies and gentlemen, watching a new show potentially happening very soon. We are going to now have the lineup where I used to do Sam's predicted lineup. I'm now going to leave that to Darius 3K to put his lineup up, and he may even do some more tactical stuff because he's clever at that sort of stuff. But look out for this. I'm not sure if we're going to have one for this show. For this game, but we're definitely going to have for the Premier League games coming up a bit more of a lineup show. And Mr. 3K, I'll put you on the spot. You better be doing that.
I'll be doing that, and I'm going to need help from anybody who's willing to help as well. I want guests of all kinds, comments, Paxton Road, anybody who's willing to help out who wants to talk lineups, tactics. Then just give me a message on Twitter or anything, or message Sam, Mike, and we can start talking tactics, and let's hopefully see if it won't be 4-3-3 every week. Because I do think Nuno will change. That's one thing I think Nuno is going to be a bit like a Thomas Tuchel light, where he's going to really go based on game by game and change up the tactics. I think it's going to be hard for us to predict lineups in the future. So make sure you check it out, and hopefully maybe not the Wolves game, but most definitely the Watford game next week. So
there you go. So there we go. New show put on the spot, and he's going to do it.
I will do it.
The good part of the show, which is now where we can find out who's got the kahunas for this tomorrow. Right. Even if you haven't got kahunas, by the way, you can still do this part of the show. Start with Mike first. What's your... Yeah. You know, you got to start with you, Hustler.
Right.
You got to start with Hustler first on this one. And I'm doing the same thing again, writing this all down, because we got grief. I think a lot of us were saying 4-1 against Paco, 3-1, 2-0. And obviously, what else obvious to happen? We lost the game. And then everybody saying, yeah. Had a lot of grief from the Armory lot. So I don't want to get grief. So I might just be a little bit more reserved. But Mike, you go first. What's your thoughts on tomorrow's result? Score prediction, please.
This is going to be interesting. The only reason I think it's going to be a tight affair is obviously because Nuno's going back to his old stomping ground. And that, I believe, will sort of give Wolves more of a fight and a point to prove with Nuno. However, I did think Wolves were poor against Leicester. So is that something? Is that going to be a consistent thing with Wolves this season? It remains to be seen. I am going to go. I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs.
Oh, 0-2.
Mike, stop it.
0-2. 0-2.
I like teasing, but I'm going for a little cheeky 2-0.
A little cheeky 2.
I don't think it's going to be a steamroll. But I'm hoping that if we play the same team, we just continue to progress, get another good win under our belts, and go into the Watford game. Well, Packers first, then Watford. But
Lookman's watching. Eugene, thank you for watching. He said 3-1 Spurs. Come on, you Spurs with that one. Darius 3K. Score prediction, please. Mike's gone 0-2. What's yours?
I wish Mike didn't go first because now I'm going to sound like I'm popular. I'm thinking 2-0. I'm thinking 2-0 as well. I think we'll see a 3 at the back. I think if Romero starts, we'll see a 3 at the back. I think if Davinson and Eric Dyer start, it will be a 4 at the back. But yeah, I don't really see how we'll score. I know Jimenez is back. I know they've got Francisco Trincao from Barcelona. They've got Traore. They've got good players, but I really think Nuno's going to shut out that defense and really, really make it a solid base to work from. And I think you'll probably see. I think I'm like you, Callum. I want to see us on the front foot this game because I said these games against Watford and Wolves is a real test to see how we're going to play this season. Man City, you're obviously going to play like that against Man City. So I want to see how we'll do. But then I forget that fans are back now. We're away from home. Could get a bit techie with the fans being there and obviously Nuno coming back so soon. So yeah, I'm going to stay safe and say 2-0. I don't care what happened in that Taco Bell de Ferreira game. That's got nothing to do with it. So clean slate for me. I think, 2-0 and probably Son double. I'm saying Son double. I'm here for it. Son's gonna absolutely. I'm telling you now, Son's gonna have the best season in terms of.
I'm telling you, I 100% agree with that. 100% agree. Joe's saying 1-1. Thank you for watching, Joe. Interesting. Judge Jodi, score prediction, please.
I hope you are both right with that, but I think I'm going to say 2-1 to Spurs. I'm just always so worried when we play Wolves. I think, they didn't look great, but they looked okay last weekend. And like you're saying, like I'm sure the players are going to want to play up to, Nuno having him at home as well. I think if Traore can finish, that would be a good thing. I just don't trust our squad not to concede a goal against Wolves. I don't know. I think, 2-1 for me. I think Sonny will get another goal. Maybe Dele will have a bit more authority to push forward and he might be in for a goal as well, hopefully. But
Actually talking tactics as well. I like this as well. Wow. Dele pushing up to get a goal in there. Thanks. So 2-1 then, Jodi. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Steamroller Sid, what's your thoughts then?
14-0. No, I'm joking. I've just been watching yesterday's footage from Tottenham's training, and Tanganga doesn't look like he's involved at all in there, so doesn't look like he's going to be there. But if we take the momentum from last week, if Bergwijn's been practicing shooting and finishing, Son's been on form, I agree with Jodi. I think Dele is going to score tomorrow. And unfortunately, as much as I would like to say we're going to keep a clean sheet, I don't think we will. So 3-1 to Spurs.
Okay, 3-1. I was expecting like 6-1 or something like that. But 3-1, That's fair dues. That's fair dues. Callum Cabs in the corner.
Usually, I feel like I'll go for a draw, but because, like I said, positive Peter, 2-1. Yeah, we're winning tomorrow. I wish it was 2016 and Delhi would score, but unfortunately, I can't see that happening. I'm kind of liking this new role that he's playing under Nuno, though. He seems to be a bit more of a number 8 rather than being higher up the pitch. Because I feel like the second striker business is not really working for him these days. Don't really know about his position in the team, but if Tanganga is out, is a concern.
That's a concern.
I hope that means Aurea right back over Doherty.
All day
I said on the stream the other day.
It's got to be any.
I said on the stream the other day I'd give him a new contract. People didn't love that one. But, yeah,
I'm not better than Doherty. He's better than Doherty. He's better than Doherty.
I'm not surprised, mate.
Yeah, they didn't love it.
Would you not go for Scotsy at right back?
I haven't seen enough of him.
Yeah, I think he at the end of this season, I think he could probably have a position to play in this squad, but I think it's too soon to start.
I tell you what, though, I'd rather have put Scotsy at right back than put Scotsy at left back, because up against Adama Traore, it's going to be no fun. So Reguilon's going to have no fun tomorrow, and that's the only problem I can see. So we've gone so far, Mike. We've had 0-2, Mike, Darius 0-2, Jodi 1-2, Sid 1-3, Callum 1-2. It's left to me. Sam, Spurs for life. He's going to go. You know what? I think it's going to be. I don't think there's many goals in it. I think because Nuno knows how they play, because of the type of play, I'm going to go for another sneaky 1-0.
I knew it. This guy's 1-0, 1-0, 1-0.
Hold on. Hold on. Sid, before you berate
I know what you're going to say, so don't even say it.
Who got the score right last time? Thank you very much. Telling me about I'm getting 1-0, 1-0. Yeah, I'm getting 1-0. That's right. Tomorrow's 1-0. I reckon Mora's going to score the goal tomorrow. I think we'll have a dominant performance in terms of possession, but I just think with the way that Wolves are going to be set up to play against the role manager, it's going to be a bit more of a tactical affair. But I do think we'll come out on top, and I hope we do score more than one goal. But I just, at this moment in time, I just want us to get the victory. I want to see the same performance, get this goal, win the game. If it's 3-1, so be it. I'm happy with that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our preview. I do hope that the majority of you, I know that Callum can't make tomorrow's reaction. He's getting something special done. Callum, do you want to tell people? It's up to you. I don't know if you want to tell people tomorrow.
Oh, no, I'm just getting another tattoo. So
another tattoo?
I'll be trying not to miss the game. I'm trying to watch on my phone or something.
I hope it's not a Harry Kane tattoo. That's all I'm going to say.
It is. Yes, I'm getting Harry Kane's face on my left thigh.
He's getting rid of Ndombele. He's getting rid of Ndombele's tattoo.
Because if Harry Kane leaves, then that way he'll stay with me forever.
Oh my eyes! I'll tell you what. We have to be humorous as Spurs fans here, because otherwise you'd be in tears the majority of the time. Okay. I think that's it. Let me get this bloody banner off here. Mike, Darius, Jodi, Sid, and Callum, thank you very much for coming on today. I hope you guys are going to be watching the game tomorrow, and see you all on the reaction show.